Alright, well, it's a new week in our class, January 23rd through the 28th, and this week we focus on reviewing the literature. So, what's going on this week is you're going to read Chapter 3 on reviewing the literature and learn as much as you can about that because there will be a preliminary literature review assignment upcoming in the class. So take a look at that, and then you are to continue. This shows literature review examples. You're going to continue to read your 2 to 3 articles each week to prepare yourself for the preliminary literature review that's due soon. But this week, since we are talking about literature reviews, you should take a closer look at the Lit Review section of some of the research articles you are reading. So any research report will have some kind of literature review. Some of them are short, some of them are long. Some of them are fat, some of them are tall. Okay, maybe not those, but anyway. You look at how these authors organize a lit review. It often goes from general to specific, and in the end it focuses on the current study listed in the article. And that's how you're going to have to make your literature review. It'll go from general to specific. And so let's say your article was about, let's say it was about science learning methods in the middle school classroom. Then you might talk about science learning methods first in your literature review overall in all kinds of different classrooms, and then you might narrow it down to just in the middle school classroom as you talk about previous studies that have been done in that area. So yeah, that's general to specific. Also pay attention to how the author doesn't just list one reference after another and tell what each article says. It's not just an annotated bibliography. The author should instead combine the literature according to a logical pattern, such as listing previous studies according to the findings results. That's the most common one, or types of studies, or focus of studies, or another logical factor. So your literature review will need to organize sources in this way as well, and you must avoid just listing one article after another with no logical organization. A good lit review doesn't just say, Smith found this in his study of this. Johnson found this in her study of that. Instead, you have to combine those articles. You might say, the following are a list of studies that have been done focusing on middle school science and its effects on student achievement. And then you'd have those combined in a nice, organized fashion for your literature review. So anyway, that's due not next week, I don't think, but in a few weeks. Let me take a look real quick just to find out when that preliminary lit review is due. On February 11th. Alright, so that's something to look forward to as you look at these literature review examples. It's building you up to that assignment where you have to get them all together. Alright, now with the learning modules, these are set up, but you do have to go to northernstate.cretocourseware.com and log in, and then these are the sections you want to complete. Why citations matter, APA citations, and citation tools. And this will help you to learn a little bit more about APA as well as some tools that can help you to do APA format. Be sure that you just do the ones listed here. You don't have to do the entire course when you log into northernstate.cretocourseware. Just do the ones that I list in the course in D2L. I guess that's all the learning modules for this week. You'll also have some instruction on finding sources from our librarian that will help you. And then you will you will complete the Chapter 3 quiz by the end of the week, this week, and the week, remember, ends on Saturday. And then there is the city certification due also by the end of the week, and that's the training initiative that requires you to go to the cityprogram.org website, log in, if you don't already have an account, register and create one. And then go ahead and complete the required modules, RCR, at NSU for the purpose of this assignment. And then basically you just submit your certificate here. If you click on this, you'll see a different view than I have, but you'll be able to upload a file, and you can upload your certificates that you get for completing your city certification. So that's just an all or nothing basically assignment. I just checked to make sure that you did complete the certification with a satisfactory passing rate, and then give you the full credit for that assignment if you have. So that's what is on the docket for this week. You're going to be learning about finding sources and so forth. I thought I might give you just an open, I guess, refresher or open up about how to do some finding of resources as you go ahead and search and as you learn about this. So I'm here at the library website at Northern State University, and I can go to, well, I got here by clicking on library. And what you want to probably do is go to the databases, and that's what this looks like. And for me, I mean, it depends on what database you want. You can search the guide to find a database in your area, and you might find some that work a little bit better than others. I like to use ERIC. It's a very large educational research repository of research reports. And so I can go right here and I can select, or I can type in some search terms to find articles that are research reports. Now there are some options as well that we'll show you in a minute, but let's see. Let's say I'm doing something on interactive whiteboards. And so I want to do a search like that. I might actually choose what field I want that to be in, maybe subject field, or I could leave it the way that it is and do a search for that. Looks like I get 375. Now I probably don't need to read 375 articles, right? That's not what I'm wanting to do. So I may want to limit the publication date to only be since 2008, for instance. Maybe that's the only times that are relevant to me. Maybe ones that only have full text here, and that will limit it some more. And are peer reviewed. That means that they have actually been published and reviewed by experts in the field. So that's another quality measure. And then I could also choose academic journals only if I wanted to, and that's a way to kind of further narrow down my results. Now if I find something interesting, let's say I want to find a research report rather than just a secondary source of information. So this one says, Technology Integration, Exploring Interactive Whiteboards as Dialogic Spaces in the Foundation Phase Classroom. I can look down here and it will say publication type, and it says Reports Research. That means that this is a report of research. And I can know for sure by looking at the article itself, and it looks like maybe I don't. Oh, okay, right here I can find the full text maybe. So here's, if I get the full text of it, I can know that it's a research report because I can find a section called Methods. Or research design is another way to look at it. This was actually a research report. This was an ethnographic study, it said, on the qualitative tradition. And so that's why it says a little bit differently. But if it has a research design section or a methods section, then it's a research report, and that's what you want for your literature review. Also a results and discussion section are clues to the fact that this was actually a research study that went forth. So let me go back to results. And let's see. All of these look like they are research reports. Teachers' attitudes toward using interactive whiteboards. So obviously they've measured something. Teachers' attitudes, understanding elementary school teachers' journey, teachers and students' perceptions, thematic review of interactive whiteboard. That one may not be. Let me look and see if I can find if it's not a research. Yeah, that is a research report. So all of these are research reports, and that's one of the great things about the databases. Is that they have a lot, they're pretty heavy on the research reports. And again, let me pull one up. Let's see, Understanding an Elementary School Teacher's Journey. Let me pull up the PDF of this article here. Now, if you're doing this for your literature review, you'd want to read through the article, get a feel for what it's about by reading the abstract, and then go ahead and read through the different parts of it and take some notes on it, right? You want to take a little notes about who were the people that they studied, what was the findings. But if you look here again, this is a research report because, hey, there's a methods section. So that means that there's a research design that they're describing to us and that there are going to be some actual research results. I guess I better find you some examples of some non-research reports. One other tool that you can use is Google Scholar. It's a great tool for finding things, but it does have some things in there that are not research reports as well. Let's see. This one may not be one. Let's see if I can find one that's not a research report. Nope, that is a research report. It's a study. All right, here we go. The interactive whiteboard, a literature survey. So that means it's a literature review. It's not a report of research of a single research study. Instead, this is a literature review. And if you look at the wording here, it says that there is little background or research literature available, but the team have sought this out and offer an analysis of findings from a broad sweep of sources. So this is a secondary source. What it does is it compiles or analyzes various research reports to come up with a conclusion. It's not that this is not acceptable or useful. It's just that it's not a full research report. It doesn't have a methods section. It doesn't have the results of a single study. Instead, it compiles the results of multiple studies. Now, you can use something like this in your literature review, but you can't have primarily these types of sources in your literature review. In other words, you've got to use mainly research reports in your literature review as you go through. So be aware of that. Let's see. Let me just see if I can find another one that's not. Yeah, so this would be an example of more of a popular or a review type of research report. If we look through, we probably won't find a methods section. We'll find interesting information and maybe even useful information. But we don't really find a section where there was a methods like, this is the research study that we conducted, and here are the results of our participants, and here's how their learning changed or whatever. So you don't have that. You may have references. It may look a lot like a research report, but it's more of a beyond the wow factor. It's more of a just a review of other literature or an opinion piece. So there's a difference there. Other examples of non-research sources that you do not want to use are like from popular magazines. Here's an example, Backpacker magazine. Whoops, I gotta pull up. Let's see if I can find the right website here. So Backpacker magazine has a website, and they may talk about athletic performance and so forth, but you probably don't want to use a popular publication like this one for your literature review. Instead, we're going in the more academic side of things, the more research related types of things like I've shown you in the databases here. So that's something to be aware of, that as you go through and you're reviewing these things, you need to take a look and understand how those literature reviews are done, and you also need to make sure that you are using just research reports or the types of scholarly works that may be a review of research reports. But everything should be focused on what is the research study that was done and what were the findings of that study. So that's something you need to do beyond what we have in this list of things. It's the reading of the 2 or 3 articles every week to help you prepare for your literature review assignment, your preliminary literature review assignment. All right, well, have a great week and good luck on your activities.